is going to be recorded, and I will, so that all of you've got the opportunity to watch it later on and see the paintings again. This will be on YouTube. So if any one of you doesn't want to be seen, and I think usually it's just the talkers, the ones who talk, that are seen still, just that you know this is going to be recorded and you can watch it later. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming to my online exhibition. I'm so excited. Like, this is such a pleasure to have you all here and to introduce you to my newest paintings. And I've got Fatma Albrecht with me, who's gonna be my partner in crime and
hi everyone.
talk with me through this exhibition and ask your questions. So in case you've got questions, you can open up the chat and put it in there. I've got my brother, Tanriverdi shop, who is gonna post the links in here. And I've got this beautiful, wonderful, handsome man with me who's gonna show you the artworks close up. So there is one window which says Art Focus Cam, and that one will show you the pieces.
I like it. That's beautiful.
Close up.
And let's try that out with pinning. So does everyone see it now in full screen? You should see it. No?
I see you.
You see me?
I'll try it. Do you see it now?
I actually don't, which is interesting.
Okay. That's what I thought. But what you guys can do is, like, you can go on that art focus window. There's like 3 dots, and if you go there and you go to pin, I think it says pin, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, pin video, add pin video, and you can just press that one, and then you can see the artworks like in a big window. If you want to see Fatma and me, you can have that too.
I'm going to try one more thing, if that works.
That's perfect.
No, it doesn't. Sorry.
So how much fun can we have tonight?
Yes. Domenica, tell us a little bit. Your vernissage today. First of all, thank you for inviting all of us to your first online vernissage. And I wonder how many more will come, because I really like that concept. Thank you for creating that. And your vernissage is called Intimacy. Maybe before we start with all the paintings, would you like to tell us a little bit about that? Like, it's a really interesting name, right?
It is, isn't it? It's like, it's really interesting, since I've been planning this vernissage or this exhibition since, wow, last year, like the end of last year. I was like, I had all these ideas coming up, and that's how it works. Like, I get ideas and then I start playing around with different materials. And when the lockdown came after my wonderful Rio trip and I was back, I started working on this painting here, which is called The Boatman's Coal. And it's like, it was like magic moments. And I knew this exhibition is going to be named Magic Moments, because it was like, oh my God, it's, I don't know, don't only reach out for the stars, but for the moon, and just take it down. And like, there is so much into it, and everybody can have his own interpretation with The Boatman's Coal. And I just love it. And the interesting thing about it is, like, it's a different technique than all the rest of the paintings that I'll show you today. So it's made out of handmade paper. Like, people use paper, they make paper like, let me see if I can show you a bit. No, I didn't put it here. It's like handmade paper with flowers, and you can watch people doing that, and then you can do your own paper with flowers. Oh. Wait, let me take another sip. Okay. And what I do is, like, I play with the material in a different way. And this one is like the paper dove. So it's a dove, it's like a type. And I take that and put pigments inside, and then I pour it on the canvas. And the darker parts that you can see, that's made out of coffee grounds. So it's a mixture of coffee and pigments and stuff that glues it. Yeah, and that's been like the last exhibition. I worked a lot with coffee and with paper, and that's all paper. But it's, as I said, it dries on the canvas, and it's very special, and it's a technique I just started playing with, and it just comes to me. I'm like, oh, I could do this, and I've got something in my mind, and I just start. And this is like 1.50 and 120 centimeters, so 150 on 120 centimeters, so it's like quite big.
It's really good.
I'm sorry.
And by the way, Daniel is doing an amazing job. We can really see it clearly. Oh, Annette is saying, I can't see the painting. Yeah. Annette, you have to, you can actually go to the little window where the painting is, and there's 3 little dots when you go on top of it, and then you can just put a pin, or in German pinnen, and then you can see it. Yeah, huge.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much. Do you have any questions to that technique? Ha. It's like gone.
So maybe we can just tell everyone, so you can unmute yourself, and I hope everyone knows, just in the left corner. Yeah, you can just unmute yourself and ask your questions to Melika.
And if not, you can just write them in the chat as well. So if you don't want to be heard or seen.
The anonymous.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, and then have we already said there is a link to the shop, right? And it's also in the chat. And if you just click on it, it will lead you, sorry, it will lead you to the shop, and you get even more information there.
Wonderful. Yeah. So. Oh, okay. My window, my participant window just moved, and I can't move it anymore, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine. Ah, now I see it. Okay. Okay. So that was the first one. And then actually the style, like the materials I started playing with, as well as the motifs started changing. So I was like in question, and I was like, oh, does it still fit? Is it still like Magic Moments? And it was like, nah. And I was like, okay, just show me. So what I do is like I use some tools to create my art and my exhibitions and my life. And it's about asking questions. So I talk to my paintings, and I'm like, hey, I talk to the exhibition, and I'm like, hey, what would you like to be called? Or what is it you would like to look like? And so the next bit I want to show you is I Am the Source.
Oh.
I Am the Source is one of the latest works I've done. And this is like a very special technique. I haven't seen it so far with other people. It's like I was doing that before, that I burned stuff in wood, but I'll explain that one to you later. So it's like it's wood pyrography and flowers embedded in epoxy. And it is poured in the frame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Awesome. I love the camera. I'm like, nice. Let me tell the story.
How long, or do you ask actually an artist, like from the idea until the painting is done, like usually how long does it take a painting? You cannot say that, right?
so different. Like I have got paintings in my mind for years, and then I see the right wood, the right piece, I have the right frame, and it comes together like in a day or two, or depending on the material. Sometimes it takes time to dry, so it takes maybe a week or two, but when the painting is in my head, it's already there. Like it's, yeah, but when I find the materials that fit together, and it's really interesting. Thank you for that question, because for me it's so normal. Like I've got like one canvas here, it's hanging here, like it's not here in the moment, but it hangs here usually, and there is paper with colors on top already, but it's waiting for the motive, and it's been hanging for half a year or even 8 months. Like I started it in the beginning of the year, and it's like, okay, it will come. Then I've got pieces of, like, my whole flat and studio are full of pieces of wood because they're waiting for the right motives and the right colors. And now I've got, for example, now I've got paintings in my head that are already there, so I know exactly how they want to look like, on what kind of wood they want to be like. So it's just a matter of, when do I have time? When is the next time? When is the next spot where I've got this time to actualize it and to bring them into the world? So I Am the Source is made with 24 karat gold as well. So all the jewelry she's wearing, camera isn't ready. It's too slow.
That is great information about the jewelry and about the gold.
So I just started working with gold, well, like with real gold. I've had like the other paintings I use with the other paintings I used something else, like black gold. Is the camera still there?
No.
Okay, I think my camera got lost. Okay, let's see how we can open that. Hi! I can see myself, so you can see yourself.
But we can actually not see you right. Now it's back. Okay. Let's
Okay.
look again. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the jewelry, the necklace and the earrings, they're and the bracelets, they're out of 24 karat golds. And it's so funny because I went to a name giving party a couple of weeks ago, like on the other side of Germany, and we traveled like 8 hours. And I was at that party, and there was this gorgeous lady, and I was staring at her all the time, and I was like, in my head, I was doing the painting already. So, and then we started talking, and she was really sympathetic, and I was like, would you mind if I take some photos of you? And she was really pregnant, and she was like, no, I don't. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then there was like this porcelain where we were eating from, and it was talking to me all the time. It was like, I'm so beautiful. And I was like, I acknowledge it. You're so beautiful. And I was like, could you just hold that one bowl and on top of your head? And she just did that. And then the painting, like, and that was like really quick. It was like in 2 weeks, the painting was ready. Wow. And then I asked the colors, and then I asked the flowers to come. And it's really funny, but I ask for the things to come to me, and they find me. And I walk around in the world very differently now that I'm asking questions and using the tools. It's like, it's really funny. And I'm talking about tools, and it's access consciousness that I'm working with. So it's the tools of access. And I just have to say that as well, because that's the way it works. It's really interesting. So for this one, for example, I went down to the garden, and I was like, it's autumn. There is no flowers at all. But I was like, hey, maybe I find something for this one painting. And I went down, and there was like this one branch of a flower that's got loads of tiny flowers. And there was no plant there. There was nothing. It was just this one branch. And I just took it with me, and I was like, oh, do you want to go in the painting? It was like, yeah, please. So this is the flowers that are on there. And the violet ones that you see, if you just could close up to the violet ones, that's the original color. And then I got that, I tried that out, and that's a violet, but the one underneath, yeah, that one. And then I put some nail polish on top of the other ones to get different colors. I was like, I had no clue if it's gonna work or not, but that's how it worked. And around the flowers, that's gold as well. That's also 24 karat gold. It's in the turquoise and just gives it a shiny, like the epoxy is very shiny. So the paintings shine. They've got a own bright shining thing. And what I love about epoxy, the material I'm using, like that looks like glass, is it also mirrors you when you walk by, or you can see the lights reflecting inside, and it's just it's just brilliant. I love it. Yeah. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
people are commenting, like Anya is saying her face is beautiful, and Verena is saying I love it so much.
thank you so much. So this is Denise, actually. It's called I Am the Source, but the model was Denise. And I'm very grateful for her that she was like, yeah, sure, you can take photos. And she was standing there and everybody was staring at us, and they were like, what are they doing? And I was like, taking photos. She with a bowl standing there. And now we've got painting, which I took in this exhibition, even though I did it before, because I wanted to show you how the pyrography looks without colors and without the epoxy. So this is a pyrography. It's like a branding into the wood. And I use a pen that gets really hot. And with that pen, I burn my motif in the wood. Swing time. And I love swing time. It's like this little girl swinging. Yeah. And what I also started doing a couple of years ago is like I go to flea markets and antique markets and I buy this amazing frames. And then I ask the wood, which wood wants to go in there. And then I ask the motives, which motives want to go in there. So it gets all this complex thingy of artwork. So that was swing time.
What is the size of this one, Melika?
Oh, thank you. Swing time is like 50 times 60 centimeters with the frame, but you can take it out of the frame. I wouldn't do it though, because it's one piece of art. But with some of them, when I pour the epoxy on top, you can't even take it out of the frame. So it's really one piece of work. This one wasn't. Now what we're going to show you, I love that one as well. This one is called, it's a couple of them. So we've got a small series now. The first one is Being, and it's very special. It's like, I started making paper a while ago. So I do my own paper, and this is like a small piece of paper. And what I did here was like, I put pigments inside. So the paper is that it's this color, which is in the paper. And then I put coffee ground in there as well, because I wanted to see what happens when I put coffee in there. What happened was I burned on top of it. So the lady is burned in there also with that pen. And what happened is, because of the coffee ground, the paper started falling apart. And it was just such this gorgeous, precious piece that I was like, I could just pour epoxy on top of it. So I poured epoxy on top of it and put some golden pigments in there. And for those of you who don't know pigments, it's like the powdery version of colors. I've got some pigments here I can show you. I've got loads of pigments here. This, for example, is like blue pigment. It's ultramarine. Actually, it's Dutch. I got it from a Dutch lady. And people know I'm a painter, so I get like pigments all the time from everywhere. They come and like, hey, do you want to have this? I don't need it. Yeah, so this is a piece of paper with epoxy on top. And it's called Being, and it's about being, just this not needing to do anything, just being and enjoying life. And I just love the colors. Yeah, so I love the colors blue and green. If you haven't realized yet, you will. There's more to come. And then I'll go to this one. Is it Relax into Receiving?
Wow.
Relax into Receiving is also pyrography. And then I started experimenting with this material of epoxy. And epoxy is like a 2-component thingy, which is fluid. You pour it together and you have to stir it. And then it gets really hot and it like gets hard in, I don't know, 24 hours. You can't do anything anymore with it. So it's like, could you just like knock on it? So, and I've seen an aquarelle. I think it was from Rodin, and he had this lady from the back side, and she was like standing in water, and it was like, oh, I could do that too. So it's like I get inspired by everything I see around me, and I love to go to museums and just look at the old paintings and get all the information. Actually, it's information and inspiration.
Melika, what is the size of this one?
This one, my dear, is 26 centimeters times 40. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the next one. That's the next step now. I started pouring in flowers. And I haven't done that before. And it just came to me with a big painting. I'm not a trier. I'm not like, oh, I'll just try it with a small bit. I go for the big ones and I start with the big ones. And it worked out quite well. So I was like, oh, I can experiment now with the colors. And I love this colors of, like, I use loads of different pigments, as I said, and I just mix all the pigments and then I pour it on the wood. And this one I just poured on top. Funnily enough, these flowers found me as well. Aziz my son is 11, and he had a project at school. He had to do like a herbarium, which is like they have to dry leaves and then to figure out which leaf belongs to which tree. And then he was like, I have to dry them. And I had something like a flower press at home. And I was like, okay, cool. And got that flower press out. And out of that flower press, there were like dozens of flowers that I dried at one point in my life. I didn't even remember. Yeah, and these are 2 of them. So this one is called Flowers. And this is only 17 times 18 centimeters, which is like this. Thank you. Right. Do you have any questions so far? I love it so much. Thank you so much, Marina. Thank you. Me too. I really enjoy showing my work as well. It's like I've been working a lot on my own since I don't work in my studio. Usually when I work in my studio, people come by and I talk to them and I have chats. Since we have to wear masks, I really don't like to work in the studio except for pouring the epoxy and then I go home because you don't want to sit in the smell of epoxy. It's ugh. So until it dries. When it's dry, it's fine. But before it reacts and it's like. So we've got Time Traveler.
Okay.
This is 2 pieces coming now, which are like only half poured. So I didn't pour the whole epoxy on top of the thingy of the artwork, but just like half of it. And I played with it. And that's like, that gives this whole thing a movement and a time traveling aspect. So the time traveler is a man with a suitcase who is traveling, and the epoxy is like, oh, it's just like, oh, I just love this piece as well.
Is that on wood again?
Yeah, all of them are on wood, except the first one, all of them are on wood. So it's all burned in the wood, and then that epoxy, this glassy, shiny material is poured on top of it. And what I do is, like, you can see here in the structure, you pour different pigments in the epoxy, so it gives this structures and this different forms and figures that you can't control really. And we've got the next one, which is the world is my playground.
Yay!
And she's a tightrope actor, and she's walking on a tightrope and with an umbrella. And I love her too.
Beautiful, just stunning.
The world is my playground is like 42 times 51 centimeters. It's also like
Angela is asking, and do you see the Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub?
Where is that? And do you see the Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub? Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub. Do you remember? I don't remember too. And do you see the Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub? Ah, Angela. This is like someone who bought. Is that Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub? I think she bought one of the paintings, which was Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub. Yes.
Oh yes, she's saying it.
Yeah. But it's not here because it's now. I can't see it now. I get you. I've got the, like, if you in the right hand side, you can change but I can't change anything in the moment. So my Zoom is like as it is. So I only see like 3 people.
Oh,
but Angela has got a painting of mine in her background.
I will wait.
Yes, here we go. Now I can see it. Can you see it too? So this is Du bist Magie-Sternenstaub. I was like, what do you mean? I don't have it one here, but Angela does. Oh, that's so cool.
I always loved this painting, and you are the happy one, Angela.
Angela's the happy one, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is from my last exhibition. Oh, this is so cool. Hi. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing. Oh, great. We go on with this row, which is like, now comes soul food. And soul food is also, I was in Paris, and I was at a class of Heather Nichols, and we were outside walking along the Seine, and there was music playing, and we went and danced. And then there was this guy playing the sousaphone. I had to look it up like 10 times. It's a sousaphone. And he as well is just poured up to the half of the wood is poured with epoxy, and the rest isn't. So half of it is shiny, and the other half is just this matte wood. And what I also love to use is like the mouth, not the opening piece from the sousaphone. That's like shellac. And I don't know if you guys know shellac, but shellac is the material you usually put on wood, and antiques have got it, and they are all shiny and brown. And I use it to paint with it because I just love the color. It's just this warm yellow, which you don't get with other materials. Mm-hmm. And here, and this one, my mom poured actually with me. She was my assistant. That was so cool. That we did that last year. So I came back from Paris, and I had it in my mind, and I was like, oh, can you assist me? I have to do this really quickly. And I didn't know if it's going to work or not, because I haven't done anything that big before. And then I poured half of it, and she was just such a good assistant. Thank you, Mom. Oh. Oh, nice. Barbara's just saying when she goes and enjoys bars or lomi with Angela, she always sees the painting. That's so cool. It is. So this one was 51 times 150 centimeters. So it's 1.5 meters high. Now comes a small dancer, and it's the dancer on the dark side of the moon. I love that. I love to give titles to my paintings, and I am very inspired by my classes.
And actually, I would say the paintings, they whisper their names to you, and you're just too smart to
I'm just like,
listen to
oh,
them.
this is nice. Thank you. Yeah. And this bit is also pyrography. And then there is gold glitter, but it's not real gold. This, like the 24 karat gold, was actually really only with the one painting. This one is gold paper. And yeah, there is pigments in, like, sometimes I put pigments in the epoxy, sometimes I don't. This one has got this gold pieces as well in the epoxy, which gives it all like this. It's really, oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much for showing. Whispered names to us too. Ah, they're so beautiful. Thank you. Is someone there who wants to ask a question? Nah, goodie. And we go on. The next one, I was inspired by my son. Actually, I was inspired by another artist who had a little girl, and she was sitting in an aquarium. And I remembered when me and Aziz were in Vienna last year, we went to a big aquarium, and you could put your head in a glass, and then you were inside of those fishes. And it was so much fun. I was like, oh, I'll do that with Aziz's face. So this is also pyrography. So the burning wood, and then colors and the goldfishies. And then I poured epoxy on top. And here as well, I put like blue bits in there, so it looks like water as well. So it gets that effect of water.
It is so beautiful, and seeing Aziz on it, and really, like you said, having that underwater effect.
Yeah,
I love that.
hey. Wonderful. Thank you. So that was one was named Beyond This Reality, and was 46 times 55 centimeters. Mutet asiatisch an. Nice. He is kind of. Now we get a painting with two gentlemen on it. Two gentlemen with an umbrella. And it's also pyrography on wood with epoxy on top. And this time it was the universe. That was like, oh my God, I'll try that one. So this time I tried to get that effect of the universe in the epoxy, and it's like different layers with different pigments, and it's called Everything is the Opposite of What It Appears to Be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be, which is the crazy phrase of access consciousness. And when you repeat it a lot, you can get out of your mind fucks.
And it always helps.
It always helps.
Always helps.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the paintings do. They tell me the names, but they're also like, they have this energy in them, and you're like, ah, okay, cool. Okay, that's what you want to be in this world. Like they come out and they're like, they have this, they want to play, they want to be somewhere, hang somewhere, and be this contribution to everyone. Yeah. hardworking man. Okay, now we start with the latest series. So I played around with the epoxy a lot, and then this one was the first one where I embedded the flowers. So I found the flowers that I took out of my flower press, thanks to Aziz, and I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Bam. This one is called Intimacy. So this is the painting I named the whole exhibition after. And actually, I was inspired by a sculpture that I saw in Dresden, where we've been to the Albertina.
Der Albertina, das habe ich auch schon gesehen.
See? Wonderful. Hi. And yeah, so I was inspired by that. And then came the flowers. And then I found this snake that I found when I was running one day. And I pressed that one as well. I found it and I was like, oh, this is really beautiful. So it's a real Klapperschlange.
It's a real snake?
It's a real snake. It's a Blindschleiche. It's not a Klapperschlange, it's a Blindschleiche. I mixed it up. So I found it like in that flat way on the road. I was running, like going for a run, jogging. And that's what happens. I'm like, oh. And I'll pass by. And then my mind goes like, no, you have to go back. No. And then I run back and I'm like, okay, I'll take you with me. I don't know what to do with you, but I'll find something. So this came and it was like, I want to be in the painting too. So that's why this one's there. And yeah, and it's poured with epoxy. And what I love about it is like the flowers, when you touch it, you can still feel it's like, I love haptic. I'm very haptic. So I love the feels of stuff. And you can feel the flowers under the epoxy. It's not like so thick that you just see them, but it's like this touch as well. And the snake as well, if you want to.
Oh.
So Intimacy is like 60 times 80 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mind went on and I was like, I want more intimacy. I want more of that sensualness. That I think what I miss the most in these times is like the touch, the being close to people, hugging people, and all that is like forbidden in the moment. Is like that came out in this exhibition. It's like more of that, please. Oh, that's the other one. Oh, so I mixed them up. So this one is the Women in Solitude, Sitting in Beauty. So I found ginkgo leaves, and this one is with ginkgo leaves. So, and I love it. I love the turquoise and the red of her hair and the gold in her hair. So you've got this gold bracelet as well. I didn't work with the real gold. So it was like before I ordered some real gold to play with it, but it's blood gold and it looks really delicious and yummy. And she's got these, and it's really funny because it reminds me of Art Deco, and then it reminds me of the Jugendstil, like the Nouvelle Art stuff. And it's like, yeah.
It's stunning. I'm in love with that one. I love them all, but this one is whoo.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. And one more time, let us post the link one more time to all the paintings.
Yay. Definitive Art Deco. And on Goethe. Yeah, that's what Daniel said. And I was like, oh, I'm going to mention Goethe as well. And he was like, oh, I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure. But what was it with Goethe? There's something with the ginkgo with Goethe. Goethe. What was it? But do you remember? No. So he wrote about the ginkgo. Über the ginkgo. Awesome. So ginkgo lady in red, 43 centimeters times 57. Now comes dreams are my reality. They're snuggly. Dreams are my reality. And here as well, I just love the colors, and I love this closeness and this intimacy, and this like really warm hug by Margaret Ginkgo. And here we've got other flowers. Now I was like, oh, cool, I can use flowers. That's amazing. So I had this dresses in my mind with flowers on top. So I put on the texture, I put the flowers and poured epoxy on top. And what I did with the hair is burned. So there is no color there, but I've got like a heat dryer, like a heat waver, like something to get the bubbles out of the epoxy. And I use that for the wood. So if you hold it very close, it burns the wood. So that's how I did the hair. I was like, oh.
It's almost like I can smell the burnt hair.
Oh, and you know, I always smell of burned wood, because when I would burn the wood, like with the figures, everything smells of this burned wood, and I love that smell. I think that's one of the parts why I just love to make this painting.
Yeah, Barbara saying, eins schöner als das andere.
Oh, thank you so much.
Angela too, so schön.
It's so cool that you're here with me. Whoa. That I can still have a vernissage, even though we can't be together, we can be together. So what a gift this is, right?
And actually it works really good. I mean, we can see it clearly.
That's so cool. This is my perfect assistant, who is like incredibly talented in every area. Oh. So now comes, since I figured out how to play around with flowers, this one's really, really like one of the hard pieces of this exhibition, actually. It's made with violets. And I went to the markets, and some of you may know the story. I went to the markets, and there were these flowers sitting, and they were talking to me. They were like, hey, take us with you. And I was like, what do you do with the flowers? And he was like, you put them in food, you can eat them. And I was like, oh, it's violets. And I love the smell of violets. They're just like so yummy and delicious and so gentle and soft. And so I took one package with me, and I was like, oh, I'll just take them with me. And then they were like, we want to go on the painting. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, I'm not sure if I can dry them. So I tried it out, and it worked out really well. And I have had this couple in my mind that kiss, and it was all like flowing. It was just like coming to me, and I poured the violets in there, and I just adore this painting. And it is already sold. I have to admit, this one is sold already. And this one had like 3 to 4 people who came and were like, can I have it? Can I have it? And I was like, I haven't had my exhibition yet. But then I was like, yeah, sure. Because if we don't.
You know what I really love about this, and about all your faces, that you bring this feeling, what people are living in that moment. I mean, I can, and just talking about me right now, I can feel the kiss. I get the whole story of that picture of this man and this beautiful woman and kissing, and that. Thank you so much for that, Melika.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that is what I get as well. Like when I do them, I get really excited. The more excited I get, the better it is. Like it's like crazy. Yeah.
And you know what? It creates a melting, as at least in my world.
Thank you.
Looking at it. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I want them all.
So by the way, you can buy them all. They're all in the Tanriverdi.shop. which is posted in the link is posted in the chat. So if you want to buy any of these, you can just go there and give it a go. What would it create in your life and for your living if you owned a Tanriverdi? If you had the energy of a painting in your house, like Angela does, and it would just like remind you of your potency and remind you of that everything is a choice, that you have choice, and that you are the source for everything that gets created in your life. And I've got like, I wrote this letter in the beginning of the year, which I still have in my atelier, in my studio. There's like a huge letter, which tells the story of my first painting. And I was living in Peru in a Hare Krishna temple, and I was pregnant, and I was doing yoga all day long, and I had no money at all. So I traveled like for 1.5 years, and I was just getting it together to come back to Germany. And before I left, I wanted to pay them, and they were like, "Oh no, it's fine." And I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "No, you don't have to. You were pregnant. You were our guest." And I was so touched. And there was this painter, Nilamani Das, who painted one painting, which is maybe I can show you later when my boyfriend's ready again. Nilamani Das, could you just show them this one? So this is hanging in my living space, and this one he was painting during the whole time that I was there. And yeah, I asked him like if I can buy it, and he was like, "Yes, sure." And I gave him like my last bit of money, and it's huge. So he rolled it for me, and I took it with me in the plane and back to Germany. And I love this one. And this one inspires me every day to choose more, to be more. It inspired me to become an artist. It inspired me for this series. Like, it's really interesting because I never thought that it would bring so much into my life and future, and would contribute so much for my life. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh wow, and there it contributes to me, and there and there. So it doesn't have to be a Tanriverdi, but what would an original artwork of an artist create for you and your living, and what would it add to your life or contribute to your whole sense of living? This one always reminds me of my potency, of my strength, of my like of that you're just one choice away from your dream. It's just one choice, and you can create anything, and everything is possible. And it's just this so thank you. And you will see like aspects of this painting in all of my things. Like I've got sometimes a moon on top of a painting, like with the boatman's coal. There is one tiny little moon, which is like not a moon, but it's like this dot. Okay, let's move on to attraction. And attraction actually is the last painting for this exhibition. And attraction is also the first painting of the next exhibition. So this one, it's just very like recently that I did it. I was so excited because it was in my head and I had to get it out. I was like, I want to show them. I want to show them for the exhibition. So this is this flying lady and the black guy dancing. And attraction is, for me, is like this. The energy, I was like, I don't want you to go. I want you to stay with me for a bit.
This
Yeah.
is ecstasy pure, is
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, exactly. It's ecstasy pure. Thank you. And it's pyrography. It is also, yeah, it's just flow now. And the next paintings for my next show, and I'm going to do an art show. That's what I just decided in the last couple of days. It was like, oh, I would love to show more and explain more and just share more of my art. So this is one of the first ones that will inspire me to the next couple of them with the violets, and the like, there is more to come. Yin and yang in the flow. Yeah. Yes. And this that energy, that flow, that
Yes.
getting hot in here.
Is it actually that you every day play with your paintings?
In one way or another, yeah. So I talk to them, I talk to my exhibitions. Oh, see, there's all of them together. Nice. Cool.
A masterpiece itself.
Awesome. Yeah. Whew. Thank you. You could just leave it on and put it. Thank you. That's lovely.
I wonder if anyone here has a question or just would like to say hi or say something about the painting. And just unmute yourself. And I can really see how people who come to your atelier are in front of the glass window and look inside and see all these beauties.
Yeah.
Right. And when they get a little bit of the energy of the paintings and see even you inside, that it pulls people in and it changes people's life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so. Like it's many people that pass by and they hold and they stare inside. I can tell from the nose bits and the you can see it on the window. It's all full of noses and foreheads, and I'm like, oh, nice. But they're all like, is there more to see in there? So I post loads of pictures on my Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, you should. You can just see all the photos of my new window. And I changed what the paintings are like. They just want to look outside. They want to see and they want to be seen as well. And because I'm not very often in my studio or just to pour epoxy, I changed their places and I asked them, who wants to be in the front today? So I go there every week or every 2 weeks and I'm like, okay, who wants to be seen this week? Or who wants to look outside and see the tourists? Yeah.
And another question that I have, actually, I've always wondered about it. Is it hard for you when someone comes and buys your painting, like to let it go? Is there how is that for you?
Actually, no.
Mm-hmm.
Good question though, because with some paintings, it would have been hard, I think, but they just didn't leave me for a very long time. Like there was this one painting, it's this couple walking on a rope together. Yeah. And that stayed with me for 1.5 years. And it was like, I was just not ready and the painting wasn't ready. So the owner didn't come. And the owner actually came like half a year before and she was like looking, and then she came and asked for the price and then went away again. And then she came again. And it was really interesting because one day she came and she was like, did you sell it? I want to have it. And I was like, no, it's still here. And then after that, they came like 5 people who were like, I would take it immediately. And I was like, it's sold. Mm-hmm. So if you are not quick, it can just get sold. You never know when a painting gets sold. Like it's just when the owner's ready, when you're ready, when the painting's ready. And to ask them, like in the beginning, I was making myself wrong. I was like, oh my God, maybe I don't want to sell them, but I wanted because I wanted to make my living from the art. And then I started doing these classes with Business Done Different or Joy of Business. And then I realized, oh, I actually have this joy of business and I have this joy of selling and I love to sell my art. So when they're ready, they just go. They leave the home, and then they bring this. What I do is also is like I give them a job. So I ask them to bring joy into their new homes, or money, or pleasure, or ease. And that's what they do. Like they have got this energy with them, and they just spread it around them.
And there are actually a lot of Tanriverdis all around the world right now.
Already, yes. Oh, look, and Simba's coming. Simba wants to contribute too. Simba, by the way, is my cat. And I don't know if you can see him, but he's just down at the art focus cam. And he's looking behind the bed. He's such a contributor. When I do a painting, usually they're on the floor, and he comes and he sits on all of my paintings. So he would have left his energy there and contributed. Awesome. So your studio is like the boys' aquarium with the fish's magic. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming, for sharing this special moment with me, and having a glass of water.
Cheers, and congratulations to this beautiful paintings and vernissage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And in case, if you want to see one of the paintings again, or if you want to discover more, we got something. If you want to re-listen to anything, you can just watch this video. I'll put it on YouTube, so you can just watch it and listen to the stories, or just get inspired by the paintings again. Prost. Thank you. Oh, Anja says this is for the first vernissage. That is so cool.
Schöne Vernissage. Hörst du uns?
Ja, ich höre
Hallo?
euch.
Ja.
Dankeschön.
Ja. Sehr schöne Vernissage, sehr schöne Bilder.
Danke.
Und es ist schön bei dir.
Dankeschön, danke, dass ihr da wart.
Ja, natürlich. Ja, war sehr schön.
Oh, schön, jetzt sehe ich euch.
Ja.
Wunderbar.
Ja.
Mechlika, ich möchte auch was sagen. Super,
Ja.
super schön. Vielen, vielen Dank.
Danke, danke, danke.
Ich freue mich ganz arg, die Bilder mal live zu sehen. Und ich freue mich wahnsinnig auf deine nächste Vernissage, wenn wir alle mal wieder anstoßen können.
Ja, das hoffe ich auch sehr, dass wir endlich mal. Und wenn nicht, dann halt nochmal so. Und dann. Und wann
Super, das war toll. Ich kam mir vor wie bei Sotheby's, noch viel schöner.
Schön.
Super Assistenz.
Ich danke. Ja, danke dir, Fatma, vielmals, und danke, lieber Daniel. Dankeschön, Simba, danke, Aziz, der ruhig war. Danke euch fürs Kommen und bis zum nächsten Mal, hoffentlich.
Zum Anstoßen.
Ja. Prost.
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 Sehr schön.
Wunderbar.
Sehr schön. Danke.
Abmelden.
Was ich noch sagen wollte war, ich gebe einen Kurs, und zwar Business ganz anders, Ende Dezember. Also wenn euch auch interessiert, wie ihr vielleicht gerade über Covid hinaus kreieren könnt, wie ihr euch nicht von diesem ganzen runterziehen lasst, sondern wirklich Werkzeuge wollt, die euch dabei behilflich sind, was anderes, eine andere Realität zu kreieren, seid ihr herzlich eingeladen. Es ist vom 26. bis zum 30. und ich werde es auf YouTube unter dieses Video nochmal posten. Genau, nur falls es euch interessiert, es ist eine Möglichkeit, es ist eine Einladung zu mehr. Und ja.
Dankeschön.
Und
Dankeschön.
du verkörperst das ja, Business anders oder Joy of Business. Du verkörperst das ja wirklich.
Danke. Danke, Fatma. Danke euch allen.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Tschüss. Dankeschön.
Tschüss.